Hey guys, welcome back to Wolf Tech Services, and today we're going to be replacing the thermal paste on a Thinkpad T15 Gen 1 here. I just got this in today. We're going to do a little cleaning in some other video, but for now, all we're going to do is flip this around, and we're going to clean off that thermal paste and get it ready to be sold. So stick around. We're going to show you how to disassemble and reapply new thermal paste. So for this, what you're going to need is, I have my stereo bits, something I used a long time ago before the iFixit stuff came out. So just anything here, it's just basically the same thing as iFixit, just a little bit older, I'd say. Need some bits here. This one is just regular Phillips head. So we'll get that going, as well as some new thermal paste. So we have the Corsair TM30. I've never used this one. I used the TM50 before, but this is the only one they had at Micro Center today. So we're going to be using this, and then a little isopropyl alcohol as well to get off of the old thermal paste. So to start this, I just have a Phillips screwdriver with a 1 bit on it. So to get these screws out of here, it is a little tricky. But we have a few screws. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws to do. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Perfect with that. I got all the screws done. So there is little latches that hold this bottom part in together. So I just use a little pry tool to get these opened. Then after you do, so what I like to do is do this bottom bit first, since this is where the most is and it kind of is away from the screen. So I do this bottom bit, and then I work my way around this side, and then go this side. And at that point, this top screw usually just can be lifted up, and boom. Should be pretty easy to do. You can see this is a business class laptop, so it has been used pretty thoroughly. So this is also gonna need just a little clean out here. Same with down here. You can see there is a good amount of hair as well inside of here. Pretty gross. So we're going to take off the cooler and the heatsink, which is right here. So that's what we're going to work on. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here. And then we're going to make sure to disconnect the cable as well. There we go, and just like that, it comes off. So there was 5 screws, I missed the one down here. So it's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's one more right here. And we just unplug this one from the power right there. If we turn this around, you can tell there's some thermal paste right here. We're gonna give this a good cleaning, as well as rub this down to put some new thermal paste on. So we're gonna start with the CPU first on the motherboard. I like using Q-tips, just because of isopropyl alcohol. Dunk your Q-tip in there and just generously start to remove. So I don't think this is ever done for this laptop. I think it's about 4 years old at this point. So it is definitely time for some new thermal paste. It will definitely give this laptop a little bit more life as well. There we go, got that loosened up with just a let it sit on there for a few seconds to get it off. Trying to get it away from the motherboard, as it is a little crummy. We'll grab one dry one as well. Anything that's non-lint forming is ideal for this process, just so you don't get any of those extra fibers running around. And just like that, we have it all cleaned up here, and we're gonna let that dry here for a little bit. I'm gonna zoom in on the CPU just a little bit. See, it's all taken off at this point, all the way around. There's still some remnants of the paste on the outside here, so I'm gonna let that dry up and then scoop that off as well with just a dry Q-tip. So we're gonna move on to the actual heatsink itself. So for the heatsink itself, it's just right here where it makes contact, what we're gonna want to clean. So same thing, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip is what I like to use. This one you can be just a little more rough if you want to, just because there is no electronics or pins in here. So I just like to give it a good rub. We're on my workbench, so I don't really care if I get some thermal paste on there. So this is what actually makes contact with the CPU for the heatsink. So just make sure you get all the old stuff off there, because when we apply new ones, this is what's gonna get pressed down and form that new connection. So we wanna make sure all that old stuff is off and dried up. I think that's as good as what we're gonna get it for now. Just gonna let that dry, but while we let that dry, I've got a can of my duster, electronic duster. Just gonna give it a quick spray. Just get any of that stuff out of there, as well as a Q-tip, and just trying to get some of the surface dust off of here, just so it runs a little bit better as well. Perfect, so that should be all good here. Clean up anything else that's on here, but we should be good to go to put a new thermal paste on it. So we are back to the laptop, and I'm gonna crack open our Corsair TM30 thermal paste. Nice little packaging here, some Corsair Performance thermal paste. I use the TM50 on my personal computer, so this is all they had, like I said, at Micro Center. So we're gonna put this on here and test it out today. So it actually makes contact right here. So I am going to put a little bit on here, same with over here as well, just so we get the max amount of coverage that we can get. And for laptops, we like to do a good pasting just to get it covered. I know it looks like a lot, but we want to make sure the entire surface is covered, because that is going to be the best way for the heatsink to actually work its magic. So we're going to grab our heatsink, make sure to plug the fan back in before we put anything else on, because otherwise it's going to be a pain to do. There we go, with it plugged in. Want to make sure it aligns perfectly. So I like putting it here first, align the holes as best as I can. Just kind of let it sit there while I put the rest of the stuff in. I like to start with this back screw just so it gets in place, and then I can work my way around. I like to do it in X, so one corner, other corner. I go up to the right, you can go to either one. Get that, and here we go. Boom. So that's how you replace the thermal paste. Super easy, and then we're just gonna throw the cover back on, and then we are all good to go. So this just clicks back in all the way around. And then we're just gonna tighten it up again with the same screwdriver. And just like that, we replace the thermal paste. It's gonna be good as new. We cleaned the insides. We're gonna give this a good wipe down to get rid of any of the extra dust around here. And then we're also going to wipe the keyboard down to make sure it's all good to go, do a couple tests, and then we're gonna list it and get it ready to be sold to a customer. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned a little bit of something, especially about your T15 Gen 2. We're gonna be having more of these come up, so as I get more models, we're gonna take a look on how to replace thermal paste and just general maintenance and cleaning. If you guys would like to buy this, I will link it down below in the description to my eBay store. You can get any of the laptops that I work on here. Most of them are gonna be ThinkPads, as well as some Dell Latitudes. I like selling business class laptops just because I think they're better than any consumer ones you can get on the market. So thank you guys for stopping by, and make sure to subscribe and like for more computers.